old Avery, locked up and put away, to be released or should he stay? Lies.
Sharing on YouTube as usual.
Passed off his truth. Lies. Passed off his truth. So who do you believe? A junkyard dog or the police? One grabbing greasy rags, the other a gun, a badge, a flag. Lies. Passed off his truth. But I can't, no, I can't let it be. Can't turn away from injustice, the injustice that I see. Now freedom, I said freedom isn't free. We turn a blind
Hello, Cranberry Mary.
the next time.
Hello, Daz. Hello, Lori.
Oh, it could be you or me. Lies. Passed off his truth. I said they're lies. Passed off his truth.
Hello, Charlotte.
And one more thing.
I believe 1984. You said for me to call you Alex. I believe was right. Hello, Michelle. Hello, Jenna. Hello, M.
Sometimes you
Hello, Sharzi.
cannot
Hello,
see
Bonnie.
the grease in the palm of their hand. See, I have no difficulty seeing how they could frame an innocent man.
Yo, the Big Mac.
So please don't say they wouldn't, they couldn't, because they did, because they can. Lies and truth. They're lies. Passed off as truth.
Erekose and fam. I like that.
I said we can't let it be.
Good point, Greg.
Can't turn away from injustice. The
Hello, Huggy.
injustice that we see.
Hello, Armdal.
Please remember that freedom.
Oh, it's Andy.
is
Okay,
free.
sorry, Andy. Right.
We turn a blind eye.
All right. Well, I like Stacy's lyrics, so I happen to like that one, but we'll go ahead and move on. Hello. How's everybody doing? Grew up in Kenosha and now in Sacramento. Ah, interesting. Hope I'm well. Yeah, I think I'm all right. I think I'm good. So, some of you may have seen the premiere that I put up last night after Laura. Well, it was meant to be after Laura. She said she was about to sign off, and so I scheduled it for like about 45 minutes after her, when she started talking about signing off, and then she ended up going for another hour and a half or something. So, but anyways, I uploaded it last night as a premiere. I was basically reissuing my Zander Road, video that some of you may have seen before. It's a video I had that had done fairly well, had like, I don't know, something like 7,000-8,000 views, which is generally pretty good. So I wanted to reissue it because I was thinking about something that we saw come out around 3 to 4 months after the first MAM, because Ken Kratz was actually in the Stephen Avery's Guilty Facebook groups, and he was in there and he was chatting with people, and I was remembering this screenshot, and I have it here. I put it in the video as well, but I have a little bit more of it here today that I can show you guys. But the whole thing is, to me, is we have Ken Kratz saying Stephen Avery only did it if you believe that Teresa was killed on 10/31. Otherwise, it could have happened on another day. But he specifically says it could only be Stephen Avery if it was on the 31st. The reason why that was so interesting to me, and as I was trying to explain in the video last night, is that Paul Metz clearly claims that this foul-smelling fire that he smelled and heard this whoosh. Now, granted, he tried to say he heard a whoosh from 4.5 miles south at Avery Salvage. Ridiculous. But I believe he heard a whoosh, and that whoosh probably came from much closer, which was the property right next door to him to the west, which you saw in the opening scene there. That was Google Earth image of Paul Metz's property and 3302 Zander Road. So I got to thinking about that. I'm like, wait a second. So it got me wondering, what is Ken Kratz getting at? Why is he saying that? Because, I mean, okay, let's just say that it was on a different day than 10/31. Why, if it was on a different day than 10/31? I'm just wondering what he knows that's making him say it could only be Stephen if it was on 10/31. So if it was on 11/1, it couldn't be Stephen? That's kind of what I take away from that. And it leads me to go, how much more do they really know about what was going on at Zander Road? Like, how much more information do they actually have on it? Because we only have very limited information. All we have is literally a report from Paul Metz, who says he heard a whoosh and smelled a foul-smelling fire that caused his cattle to bolt. And they actually ran to the northeast corner of the property and bust through the fencing at the northeast corner of the property, trying to get away from the smell. And that's about all we have about this. But I'm thinking, when I see that comment from Kratz in the Stephen Avery's Guilty Facebook group there, that's leading me to believe he has some more knowledge, something else that he knows that wasn't made public, that he was, because he was in a group of people that were like-minded as him. Right? So he felt like he could let his guard down, I think, a little bit. I don't know that he expected that would get screenshotted, but it did. And because I think he probably freaked out a couple people in that group. Like, they probably didn't know what to think of what well, I can tell you for sure that that's what they thought. Here, hold on, let me show you something. So this is another comment in that same thread, right? So what he says, there was an interviewer that asked that he killed her or whatever, and if he had an alibi for 10/31. And it was like if you guys know it, it was like a joke thing. A comedian was interviewing him, and most of her questions were kind of like joke questions, and when she asked him for an alibi, I felt like she was joking, but he, I don't know, may have been taking it kind of seriously. But he said, my question is, in response to, him, posing that question she had asked. But then he says, my question is, why would they assume she was killed on 10/31? And then look at this person responding to him right here. Look at this. I'm confused. Isn't that when she was killed? See, he's confusing his own base by making this comment. This comment didn't just throw us off, truthers, those of us who support Stephen and Brendan. It didn't just throw us off. It threw off the people in that group. Like, they're like obviously saying, I'm confused. Isn't that when she was killed? Right? So that's kind of what I'm getting at with Ken here, and his the things that he says. I don't know. It gives me an impression that he has some kind of idea of what really happened for him to make statements like that. Or, for instance, this one here. So you see that one there. Because, somebody had obviously asked, wait a second, I'm confused. Isn't that when she was killed? So then he comes back with, to speak further on what he was already saying. He says, she was killed on 10/31 only if you believe Avery did it. Otherwise, it could have been as late as 11/9, the day human remains were discovered in the burn pit. But, well, it was actually 11/8 when they were discovered. He's off by a day. But hey, you know what? It's been 13 years since he was on this case or so, or 15 years. So, okay, whatever. He missed it by a day. But the point is, he's alluding to this not being Avery. And I just think that is just extremely interesting. No, Thomas, I didn't. You guys can think it's a stretch. That's got to be. See, my whole point is he's talking about something here, and then we have an account. We have an account of a fire on 11/1. So, if the fire, just follow along with me. Whether you want to say Kratz knows something or not, follow along with me for a second. Ken Kratz has a theory right here that if Teresa Halbach was killed on any day other than 10/31, that Avery didn't do it. Can we agree that that's what he's basically saying there? Let's see if we can at least agree on that point. And if we can at least agree on that point, then maybe I can proceed to a further point. All right, so we can at least agree that what he's alluding to here is that if she was killed on any day other than 10/31, then it wasn't Stephen Avery. That is essentially what he's saying there in that comment. So, whether we want to say that Kratz had any actual knowledge, whatever. I don't know what would prompt him to make that statement if he didn't have some kind of knowledge, but let's just say he doesn't. Let's just say he theorizes that if it was any other day than 10/31, for whatever reason, he theorizes that if it was any other day than 10/31, it couldn't be Stephen Avery. For whatever reason. Whatever's causing him to think that, we won't dispute what's causing him to think that. We'll just say that for whatever reason, that's the theory he's come up with. So, doesn't it create a problem when we have Paul Metz coming up with the only report of a foul-smelling fire in the area, but it's on November 1st. Doesn't that create a problem? Oh, thanks, Matt, the brave one. Ken Kratz is essentially shooting holes in his own evidence in what he's saying in that statement, in those statements. And like I said, the reason, for whatever his motivations are, whatever motivated him to say those things, the point is that he is alluding to the fact that if she was killed on any day other than 10/31, that it wasn't Avery. So, and then the only report we have of a foul-smelling fire is at Zander Road. Now, yeah, so it's just interesting stuff here. In my mind, it's significant. I'm not so sure if I'm saying this is the smoking gun, that's it, everybody, Kratz is going down. I'm not really trying to say that necessarily. I'm just saying that this when I correlate these two pieces of information, I see a possible connection. It may need to be fleshed out more, but I see something here that makes me think. It makes me want to try to find out as much as possible. Exactly. Burning body will absolutely, dude. If you just burned a piece of steak on your barbecue, if you just put a piece of steak on your barbecue and just let it and turn the barbecue full heat and let that piece of steak just burn to a cinder, I guarantee you, your neighborhood is going to be knocking on your door and they're going to be carrying pitchforks. Okay, I guarantee it. Unless you live in a rural area. If you live in a rural area, then you're probably going to be able to get away with it. But if you live anywhere that's like suburb or anywhere near the cities, and you try to do like just a steak, literally just 8 ounces of steak, and burn that to a crisp on your barbecue, and I guarantee you, your neighbors are going to be knocking on your door, and they are going to think you're crazy. You're a crazy person. They're going to think you're an absolute nutcase, and they're going to be wondering what you're doing. Maybe he was being sarcastic. I don't know. One of the people in that group was asking him, what is he talking about? Like, they weren't sure if he was being sarcastic. So maybe it was sarcasm. But then he follows it up. I mean, there was I just showed you 2 different comments. He follows it up because he wanted to expound on it a little further. So he makes a second comment. Here, let me go back to these comments and show you them. And the reason why I have them separated is because I didn't want to show the people that were commenting in between. I didn't want any other people besides Ken Kratz getting drawn into this video and into this particular controversy. So that's why I also have that the woman, the person that made the comment or reply to King Kratz in the first comment, that's why I blocked the name out. This is literally looking at what King Kratz is saying, and then how somebody in that group responded to it themselves. Okay, that to me shows me that they were questioning whether it was sarcasm or not. And like I said, Kratz's earnestness to follow up the comment with a second comment leads me to believe he had something in mind. But here, let me show this the comments again. So here's the first comment, right? This is the one that was higher up in the screenshot, right? And he says, like I said, it's about the interviewer that was interviewing him. She's saying she was joking around with him and said that, one interviewer asked if I had an alibi for 1031. Then he says, my question is, why would they assume she was killed on 1031? Right? Kind of like when he's in court in his closing argument and he's saying he doesn't know why Dean and Jerry would assume that she was killed in the trailer. Well, because that's what that was your original, statement about this, was that it was that's what it was. So it's absolutely nuts that he's now saying, in that same fashion, he's now saying, my question is, why would they assume she was killed on 1031? Like, what? Why would we? Well, what day was she killed, Kratz? Right? I mean, is Emma right? Okay. So then you see this person, responding like, this is in the Stephen Avery guilty group, right? Somebody is responding to him going, obviously not realizing if he is sarcastic or if he's being serious, and is like, I'm confused. Isn't that when she was killed? Right? So that, like I said, makes me question the sarcasm, whether or not it was clearly sarcasm or not. That makes me question. But then we move on. He follows up after that. He follows up with this comment and says, she was killed on 1031 only if you believe Avery did it. Otherwise, could have been in as late as 11/9, or actually 11/8, of course. He's off by a day, when the human remains were discovered in the burn pit. So he's, however you want to look at this, he's playing games here. But I'll tell you what, even the people in that group with him, at least one person, was questioning whether or not he was sarcastic or being serious. And I think that's significant. So, back to me. Hello. Hi. Let's see. Metz told Zellner that he actually heard the buzzing of electrical lines, and yeah, he told her that. But he's also on the record, Thomas, as saying he called the power companies, and none of them had a problem that day. So he can talk about a buzzing all he wants, but the power companies, by his own account, Thomas, in Queso, he called the power companies. They didn't have any problems. So you're gonna have to point to where there was a problem, where actual electrical wires and things buzzing could have happened, in order for him to hear it. In order for his affidavit to Zellner talking about hearing buzzing and blah 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 blah, for that to have weight, you have to have somewhere where that could happen, close by his house, where he could have heard it or seen it and smelled the smoke from it. If you don't have that, you got nothing. If she was killed after 10:31, then that would mean he's trying to say that SA had her alive and hidden away somewhere. I don't know that it necessarily means he's saying... No, he's saying only if Avery did it. He's saying... To me, the wording is clear. He's saying it's only on 10:31. What he basically says is she was killed on 10:31 only if you believe Avery did it. In other words, if she was killed on any day other than 10:31, then Avery didn't do it. That's for him to say. He used the word only. He used the word only. That's why she was killed on 10:31 only if you believe Avery did it. The wording is key. No one saw. Let's see. Hidden somewhere as Ellie questioned him as they found the RAV4. And hidden so well, no one saw any signs of her. Right? With no body, the coroner wouldn't have been able to determine an exact time of death. Probably only estimate with the bones. I bet that wasn't brought up at trial. That's true. When you burn tires, you will see black smoke for miles. Absolutely. Zellner knows the pings from everyone's cell phone that day. I would imagine she probably does. They did seize and examine the burn barrels at the hunting camp. What's the potential of the murder happening on 10:31 and the burning on 11:1? Well, the question is well, okay. I see what you're saying. Absolutely. Okay, so let me go with this way. If it's Stephen Avery, why? Okay, if we roll with that, okay, he kills her on 10:31, right? Stows her away somewhere. Why is he taking her all the way over to 3302 Zander Road to burn her? If I'm correct and that's where she was actually burned at, why is he taking her all the way over there to burn her? And then, I don't understand. It doesn't make sense for him to take her there because he was actually thinking about buying that property. By him taking her there, it would have only been another thing that would have kind of came back on him. So it doesn't make sense that Stephen would have taken her there to burn her. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. And then for everything to go from there right back to his house anyway. It's like just very strange if in fact that was the burn site. The thing that makes more sense to me is we know that Stephen was considering buying a trailer on this property for Marie, and that Marie was somebody he was seeing along with Jody. And you guys have heard me talk about this before. Michael Osmondson had, by accounts, had a crush or had a interest in Marie Avery. So he would have been close enough and around Bobby's friend, Marie's, he knew Marie and all that he might have known about Stephen in that property on Zander Road. And so there's reasons why the property on Zander Road is just very, very strange, very, very odd, but it's not an electrical fire like Thomas is trying to say, because like I said, Thomas Metz called the power companies that day. He called them that day and asked if there was anything happened, any outages, any transformers blew, any kind of thing like that, anything. And they had nothing. Nothing had gone wrong with the electrical grid that day. So you can't blame the electrical grid. It's just not possible to blame the electrical grid. KK is a degenerate. Why is he at the Avery salvage yard on November 5th when no body is found? True. Let's see. Did Kira not say that the bones were discovered on the 12th when they were checked again? Yeah, in the burn barrel. Yeah, after burn barrel had been searched, it was then searched again after they went and talked to somebody, and suddenly there were bones in there. Let's see. Yeah. Then he still put the bones in his own place. No way anyone would do that. Right. Shitty thing is KK will get away with this forever, and he will stick to his story about SA guilt, and it will shade over. Yeah, absolutely. That's why we're all here. That's why I continually tell people we got to be mindful of him. We got to be ever vigilant with Ken. Whenever he comes out spouting his lies, we have to be right there to stomp on top of him and go, no, this is the truth. Here's the truth. Inform yourself. Don't listen to this man. He's a narcissist, and he lies like breathing. I will say that the grease from the body would likely make a sizzling sound that could sound like electrical wires freaking out, but that would have to be far closer than 4 miles. Yeah, absolutely. It would have to be much closer than 4 miles. And there's no way this guy heard a swoosh. See, the whole thing is Metz is trying to pin this on the Averys too. So it's like this whole thing. It's like, what is going on here? How the hell does this guy think that this smell and this whoosh traveled from 4.5 miles south of him? Is he? I mean, but he's clearly keen to implicate the Averys. You know, it's like, what is going on here? What is under the surface that we're not getting? That's my question. I'm serious. There's something under the surface here with Zander Road, and I will never let it go. I'm going to be like the pit bull clamped on. Kratz was born a woman and Judge Willis was his ex-husband. Let's see, if it has, there aren't any reports of it. Why does Wisconsin make KK the spokesman? They don't. He makes himself the spokesman. Steve shoots TH in the garage, puts her in the back of the RAV, then takes her out to burn her in his burn pit, then moves the RAV after, making sure only her DNA is in the back and his is in the front. Right. And didn't manage to drop any of his own actively bleeding blood while he was putting her in the into the cargo area, which is an amazing feat. I was rewatching MAM1 and saw Mike Halbach's interview. Why would Mike Halbach be grieving before TH was found? Yeah, many people have asked that question. The same question. Many people. It's a going concern for people. We don't understand why Michael said that. We suspect that maybe there was something behind it, but we can't prove it. And me personally, him being a member of the victim's family, I tend to lay off of him. But yeah, it's odd that he said it. The irony of him calling Steven a psychopath. KK is a power psychopath. If KK has to choose between Teresa's life and money power, he'd take her life without blinking. I think he's a pretty bad human. I don't think, stuff like human life really mean anything to him at all, really. I think he's probably too cowardly to take human life on his own, but I think he has a real just kind of not a real strong sense of humanity to him. I think what you're doing is fantastic. This case frustrates me. Oh, thank you, Daryl. Do you think KZ will invite KK to Thanksgiving dinner? Oh, that would be funny. I hope they put a video on it if they do. He knows something, MH. Yeah, it's very possible he does. Explain the missing teeth. Well, my whole point about the missing teeth is the reason why we don't have all the teeth is because they are in the original burn pit on Zander Road, most likely. He had a crusher, yet he places tiny sticks all around it in the opposite. Yeah. The whole thing about the way that RAV4 is hidden, by the way, folks, the state or the prosecution wants you to say it was hidden. It was hidden. Whatever. It wasn't hidden. Dude, it stuck out like a sore thumb. It was, if you walked down there and looked towards that pit, you would see that there was a bunch of cars parked one way and then one car parked the opposite way, double parked, with all kinds of crap piled on it. It's going to stick out like a sore thumb. It's going to draw your eye. So, actually not really, very well hidden. Oh, we'll see you later, Ethel. Sorry you have to go. The crusher, let's see. You need glasses or a bigger monitor. Maybe so. Explain the blood in the bed. Explain no blood in the bedroom or garage. Right. The way I explain that is that Stephen Avery's garage and trailer were not the murder scene. That's how I explain that. There's no evidence to suggest that a crime took place there. Certainly not the absolutely horrific and bloody and gruesome narrative that was extracted from Brendan. That certainly didn't happen. Have the teeth that were found been checked against her dental records? Yes, a dental forensic dentist or whatever glued two pieces of pieces of teeth that they had found. He glued two pieces back together and determined that was one of Teresa's teeth. There's been some speculation as to whether that's actually true. About the teeth, I reread that no teeth were found on Avery's property. No, there was a couple teeth. I think they may have been found in the burn barrel or something, but there was, and the thing is, they weren't whole. Like I said, the forensic dentist had to actually glue two pieces back together to make a whole tooth, or what he claimed was a whole tooth of Teresa's. Was Colburn on overtime when he moved the RAV4 into Avery's salvage yard? I don't know. Possibly. He would have been there pretty late, but maybe he started late that day. Maybe he was on the late shift. I don't know. I'm still stuck on the German guy. Oh, the German guy. Yeah, he was that dude. I was focused on the German guy for a long time too. There was a lot of weird things. The thing about his wife finding Pepsi cans and burned and torn women's clothing and panties and things, and then they found cherry Pepsi cans, and then they found like cherry Pepsi cans in Teresa's RAV4. So there was some things about the German guy that I was really, really suspicious of the German guy for a long time, and still kind of am, actually. The whole thing stinks. All I do know is they're both innocent, right? Like Zellner pointed out, the RAV4 has a car hood leaning on it and a few branches on top, and the RAV4 logo is on the rear of the car, clearly visible. Absolutely, that's absolutely true. I mean, it just stuck out like a sore thumb, but yet it's the things that you can use to identify it are all still clearly visible. Yeah. Colleen said she didn't test the mattress or the bedding. Why wouldn't the state have tested though? Absolutely. Why wouldn't they? To suggest that none of this blood would have gotten into the mattress or anything, yeah, okay, fine, he rolls it up and burns the bedding, the comforters and sheets or whatever, but it still would have seeped into the mattress. Are you kidding me? It would have been on the floor, it would have been on the walls, you know. Colleen said, let's see, didn't they find a small little piece of designer metal from her jeans? Like a little rivet. They found but only a couple, not all of the rivets, from what I understand. Kratz is paid to push the stage. Okay, how's KK still going on TV with his story after everything that has come out of late? He's still at it and cringeworthy watching him say things. Absolutely. But more and more people are starting to get educated, and more people are starting to see through his lies. And that's good. Because he did some damage last year at CrimeCon, or the year before. He managed to convince a bunch of the press of the BS that he was slinging, and it was sad to watch. But you know, I think things have started to balance back out again now. You have to watch him. He's a very dangerous individual. Link planted the key, yeah, probably, and he's protected. Slander protected. KZ released a statement stating the teeth thing was false. I agree. I thought it was weak and unconvincing myself. Dean, most people do not buy any of the things that we are talking about. Most people do not buy it. What's Dean talking about? I don't know what David's talking about. I agree with what Dean was saying 100%. If Zellner proves Avery's guilt, what does that mean for Kratz? What happened here? Okay, Kratz, Colburn, etc. It'll be interesting to see, but probably nothing, I would think. Immunity. Why would some who moved the RAV damage the car, then take time to get out and put the light back in the cargo area? Well, yeah. Well, mainly probably because they didn't want that light sitting on the road showing basically like a breadcrumb trail showing how they brought the car in, right? So they had to throw it in the back of the RAV4. Therefore, it's not a breadcrumb showing people how the RAV4 came in. They were trying to hide that, you know. How significant is a broken taillight? The broken taillight's pretty significant. Number one, there's no evidence that it was damaged before 10/31. The other thing is, Ryan Hillegas was on record telling investigators that Teresa had made a claim over it, and she had gotten a lump sum, but had chosen not to repair it. That's not true. She never made a claim with her insurance. And I guarantee you, if the DOJ had proof that she had claimed it was somebody else's insurance, they wouldn't have been bothering Mike Halbach recently when they reopened the investigation. When Calumet reopened the investigation in September of last year, they wouldn't have been going to Mike Halbach and asking him to dig through all of his old laptops and all of his old computers, desperately hoping that he has a picture of the RAV4 damaged. If they had proof that it was damaged before 10/31, they wouldn't be asking Mike Halbach for that. And basically that now, so number one, it's fishy that the taillight wasn't broken before 11/1, but then you have Ryan Hillegas went and told a lie about there being an insurance claim about it. So that makes it more important. When people lie about things, that makes those things important. Colburn all over this case. Yes, he is. Haven't heard anything about the German guy either. Sean Atwood, check out his channel. He has a video about the German. He talks about it pretty extensively. Interesting stuff. Is KK's book actually selling? Oh, I'm sure it sells a little, but probably not a lot. Anyone or anybody in the NSA or CIA can help Zellner. Also, no rivets. I hate the way this thing jumps. Did you manage to go to CrimeCon? No, I wish I could have. And I'd like to go one of these days, hopefully. It would be pretty cool. This whole case is mental. If OJ got off with it, then how the hell did they make this one stick? Well, because Avery didn't have OJ's money. He couldn't hire the legal dream team. He just settled for Dean and Jerry, which weren't bad, but who due to funding or for whatever reasons really kind of didn't do enough to try to refute this case. What about Mike Halbach's brother? As far as I'm concerned, I saw a tweet that suggested that he might have been connected with the 7th Circuit Federal Court. Upon looking further into the whole Tim Halbach thing, it's not the Federal Circuit Court that he was connected with. It's the State Circuit Court that he's the commissioner of. And so that's a little different. So for me, it's a significant thing that he's a big wheel there in Calumet and stuff like that. So he is a very big wheel there in Calumet. But what was originally suggested, or I felt was suggested, was that he was connected with the 7th Circuit Court, which would have been a highly significant thing if it was true. But it wasn't. It turns out he was actually connected with the State Circuit Court as the commissioner of the State Circuit Court in Calumet there. The ex-boyfriend lied about her making the claim. Absolutely. It's suspected the damage occurred while moving the Pinto, and that's why there's a brown mark on the that Zellner wants to test. There's like a brown smudge on the light itself. There's a picture of the light in the cargo area, and they can see a brown mark on it. Zellner wants to test that. She thinks it's the paint from the Pinto. Good point, Erekose. Breadcrumb trail makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. They don't want to leave breadcrumbs showing people exactly how they brought it in. They didn't want to do that. Did Bobby's wife leave him? From what I've heard, that's true. But like I say, it's still just kind of a rumor. I don't have any real serious confirmation on that. I'm sure he had to try and go incognito. Absolutely. I'm sure he's hiding out. It's a shame someone's innocent can depend on money. Well, it's about when the state has unlimited resources when they come after you, And if you don't have the type of resources to combat that, there's a really good chance you're going to get railroaded. We support you from Belgium. Oh, thank you so much, Jerome. Let's see. Why have you got the Scotland national flag on your? I have symbols of international support behind me on the wall, and I will soon have more symbols of international support behind me on the wall. That flag was sent to me by Mr. Paul Capaldi. He's who I call the Havering Mad Scotsman. He sent me that flag. That's what he sent me to have behind me on the wall to show the support for Scotland, or the international support from Scotland. So that's why I have that. It was sent to me by one of my supporters or one of my viewers in Scotland. So that's why I have it. Oh, thank you so much, Sean. Why have you got the? I've heard that Bobby rumor too. Look at you all, Spiffy. Oh, thanks there. So professional. Yeah, you know. Sometimes when I talk about serious things like lawyer stuff, I like to put on my shirt and tie. If you like Belgian beer, I can send you a package. Oh, yeah. Because isn't Stella's Belgian beer? I love that beer, so I'm willing to try it out. Send me an email, Jerome. It's in the my email address is in the info below the video. Send me an email and we'll talk, and I'll give you a mailing address. He looks good, cleaned up. Oh, you know. I'm blushing. Enjoying listening from England. Hi, Laura. Let's see. For those saying they haven't heard of the German guy, man, look up the blog post by Ryan McCorkle in 2009. I think that's where the theory originates. It is, yeah. Sean was reading from that guy's blog, Convoluted Brian, I believe it's called. And he's probably in shorts. Love her videos too. Stella is awesome. Well, no, it's not the only beer I drink, but I do like it. I do like it a lot. But I also like other beers. So I like Blue Moon. Blue Moon's good. I love Blue Moon. It's good beer. Modelo. I like the Modelo Pale. Like I like the white, the Modelo White. I enjoy your content. First time catching you live. Just wanted to show support. Oh, thank you so much there, Super Bears. Try Hergarten. It's the best Belgian beer. Sure. I'll have to check it out. This case is interesting and all that. But who is the killers? Well, that's what Zellner's basically getting at. That's why she's doing all of her testing. And currently right now, she is focused on Bobby Dassey and Scott Taddock. I have other ideas of other possibilities, but, you know, I don't have the resources to do testing and stuff like Zellner does. So, I just have to just stick with some of the ideas that I have and wait and see if any of Zellner's testing comes out and confirms possibly any of my theories. So we'll have to wait. Erekose is wearing a shirt and tie, but no pants. Yeah, I'm sitting here in my underwear. Shona thinks you didn't see me. Oh, no. I saw her. I saw Laura. Hello. She was up there commenting about how spiffy I looked in my tie, and I saw her. I read her comment. I totally know she's there. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. I don't remember. Did they collect Teresa's hair and other DNA from her house and compare with the bones? Well, they collected lots of stuff from Teresa's house. 7 pairs of panties, her vibrator, her chapstick, hairs from her hairbrush, and I think maybe even the whole hairbrush. Yeah, a bunch of stuff like that they collected from her house. And then it went to Avery Salvage before it went to the crime lab, which was also very strange. At least you own underwear, because yeah, you know, no free balling over here. Let's see. Do you ever post on SA is guilty? No, on the Reddit I have a couple times because they invited us over to talk to, because they were having a Q&A, and so I was in there one time. But the thing is, I got home from work And I wanted to say a few things. And just as I was going through the post and made like one comment, the moderators at Stephen Avery is guilty shut the post down and turned off commenting, so I couldn't say anything. So I was like, oh, you guys are jerks. And so I've never been back. Stephen Avery's guilty crowd or on Reddit are kind of a nasty bunch, in my opinion. Let's see. Am I right in saying they only found sweat DNA on the hood latch? Surely they would be sweat all over a steering wheel. Yeah, if they found that kind of DNA on the hood latch, it would be everywhere else as well. Yes. Erekose does not have any trousers on. He's wearing his kilt. Thanks, Captain. Hi, Erekose. Have you ever met Kratz? If you did, would you ask him? What would I'd probably ask him a lot of the questions I'm bringing up in this video. I would ask him what he meant by if it's only Stephen Avery, if she was killed on 10/31, I would totally love to see him answer that. What does that mean? I'd like to ask him. What do you mean when you say that exactly? If you don't mind my asking. Guys, in December, the date KZ gets a decision on all the documents. No, it's not the date she gets a decision. That's the date she files her petition, her motion regarding the Brady violation, the CD, and the computer evidence. If I ever disappear, can someone please make sure my vibrators aren't handed over to the creepy people for DNA? Absolutely right. He ain't guilty, and neither is Brendan. Absolutely. Mike O and Bobby were besties. Yeah, Mike Osmondson and Bobby were friends. Mike and Bobby killed her. Plus called Scott for help in the cleanup. See, now that's something that I think is a possibility. That's somewhere where Laura and I see a little bit closer to eye. At least in terms of Bobby, in terms of Mike Osmondson, because I feel Mike Osmondson is involved. And with some of the things on the computer, Bobby and Scott have some things to answer for, in my opinion, as well. Sweat everywhere, yeah. Let's see. Must be true. SA opened the hood with his crotch. Yeah, right. Very talented with that. He's got his unit does tricks. I think KZ is just saying that it's Bobby and Scott to get people to talk, make them feel safe. Maybe, yeah, could be that she's just putting it out there for people to see a plausible theory. And that could be all she's trying to do. Especially the ex. Yeah, Ryan is just fishy as hell and will always be. KK, let's see. Okay, what KK say he doesn't have the files. Doesn't have the files. Yeah. So he doesn't know anything now because he doesn't have the files, right? Where's my man Kratz? Kratz, can you hide from me? Oh yeah, I know. See, Purple wants to get Kratz. She really wants to grill him. Let's see. At least KZ is doing the testing. Yeah, absolutely. She's getting the testing, the science to speak for her. Let's see. Peter, TF has Teresa vibrator in his nightstand, a memento that keeps giving. Oh, God. Oh, God. I didn't want to picture that. Thanks a lot. Except for 2.5 years, I'm telling you I'm right. Certainly you could be. Was Mike O ever put on the stand? I don't believe he ever was. I don't think so. Just Bobby. The whole reason Kratz tried to bring that evidence in through Bobby's because I believe he didn't want to bring Michael Osmondson in. So I'm pretty sure Michael Osmondson never did, if I remember correctly. I don't remember ever seeing him in the trial transcripts. I don't know if we could get Kratz to. I doubt it. I doubt Kratz will ever agree to do an interview with Purple or me or Casey or anybody else. We're too small. We're small fish. We're small time. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to validate us. He knows we're too knowledgeable. So he'd rather go around talking to all the news people in the world who haven't really educated themselves about this case, really, so that he can talk to them because he has a better chance of snowing them. So maybe it's Mike O doing ugly searches on the Dassey computer because they're buddies. Could be possible. Could be a possibility. How is Mike O related to TH? Maiko isn't, but he had a crush on, from what I hear, Marie Avery. So that would, for me, be the connection. Jake, there'd be no harm in a few corrupt law enforcement officers going to jail, would there? Maybe it's Maiko doing ugly search. Right? Oh yeah, I read that. The bigger question is, Peter Grant, where are Tom Fassbender's eyebrows? Everybody keeps saying that. I love that. New theory, read about it. At one time, hypnosis was a common practice by detectives Tom Fassbender's age. Beatty looks like he was under hypnotic trance. Yeah, I mean, sort of, I guess. I mean, there's, I guess, an argument that could be made there. Brendan was very subdued and kind of, yeah. I don't know. I could see where somebody's going with that. I could definitely see why they might say it. I think when the guys get out, they should start a cleaning business, because they did one hell of a job cleaning the trailer. They slaughtered her. Absolutely. He doesn't have the balls to speak to any supporter one-on-one, and he's scared. Absolutely. Like I said, he doesn't want to speak to anybody on the case about anybody who's actually really well informed about the case. Somebody who could actually throw evidence back at him when he lies. He doesn't want to talk to us. He doesn't want to get caught, getting called out for lying by us. So he sticks with the less informed reporters and radio shows that he goes on, because he can snow them easier. Not small for Kratz. He knows it. You have a following though, and some guilters chime in. I'm gonna bug him. Oh, go ahead. If he wants to come and talk to me, I'll be happy to talk to him. Not small for Kratz. He knows you guys will absolutely slaughter him, because he has. Yeah, I mean, he knows we're gonna throw actual documents and actual case evidence in his face and go, wait, but this says that. So how the hell is what you're trying to say true? Right. I mean, we're just going to call him on it, and he's going to have to deal with that, and he doesn't want it. He doesn't want to deal with people that are actually informed about the case. He wants to stick with people who are, like, minimally informed about the case. What her family thinks about all these new tests and evidence. Oh, I'm sure they're not happy about all of it. I'm sure that as this is all painful for them, and I feel for the Hallbecks in that sense. But the truth needs to be gotten at. I would even take Dan O'Donnell. He won't contact me back either. Yeah. I don't, I think I've started watching his stuff once or twice or 3 times, but I was just like, oh, good grief. I can't even listen to this moron. Let's see. I love how KZ has nicknamed Kratz Sweaty. Yeah. I like how Casey calls him Wilbur, or now Porky. I think it's hilarious. He hates me. Former XFL linebacker, right? Jerome, no photos, because no bones. To be fair, truthers do not concede anything, so why would KK talk to you? He doesn't have to. If KK doesn't talk to me, no sweat off my back. I don't care. If he wants to talk to me, great. I'll talk to him. I'm not criticizing him for not talking to me. I'm just saying that he will not talk to anybody who's actually informed about the case. He specifically picks people who are not very well informed about the case to go on their shows, because he has a better chance of snowing them. It's his right not to come on my show. I'm not mad at him about that. It's his right to choose what he wants to do. So I'm not criticizing him for that. What I'm saying is he chooses the places that he goes very carefully. I would even discuss his own book. Oh, thank you very much there. Thank you so much, Adam. KK says he is indigent. Wish we could pay him to debate with Erekose. Let's see. Was the collected evidence from T's house tested, and did it match the bone DNA found in the burn pit? I don't know that they tested the bone DNA found in the burn pit. I know the FBI did a mitochondrial DNA test on the little bit of flesh that there was on one of the bones or whatever, but even that flesh was badly damaged. Sherry only got 7 out of 14 Loki. So Any further information about Tim Hallbach in the 7th? I was talking about that just a minute ago. It turns out he's not connected with the federal 7th Circuit Court. It turns out that he's connected with the Wisconsin State Circuit Court. He's the commissioner in the Wisconsin State Circuit Court. He's the commissioner for Calumet. So that is his connection in terms of the Circuit Court. It's at the state level in Wisconsin, not at the federal level in Illinois at the 7th Circuit. So that was the trick there. So it still means that Tim Hallbach is, yes, a very big wheel in Calumet, a very big wheel locally there in Wisconsin in terms of being the commissioner for the Circuit Court. So it makes him a big wheel in that area. But no, he is not actually directly connected to the 7th Circuit Court, which is what I had thought might have been being suggested. But when I fact-checked it a little further, it just means that he's a big wheel there in Calumet and in Wisconsin, in that area of Wisconsin. But no, not at the 7th Circuit Federal Court. So, I'm not sure. Peter Grant. I have an issue with the brain fingerprinting. Let's see here. Do you remember one of Casey's videos back? Sometime he wrote her the letter calling her name. Yeah, oh yeah, he wrote a letter and he actually, I mean, and this is why he won't do this anymore. He validated Sean Atwood and he validated Casey Martinez because he actually referred to them. He actually referenced them in a letter he wrote. And when he did that, he validated them. When he did that, their subscribers shot through the roof. I doubt he'll do it again. I doubt he'll do it for any of us again. I think he learned his lesson. I think they scraped up bones from the quarry. I believe they moved bones onto the Avery property as well. Absolutely. What is there to concede, David, other than Avery's past actions, i.e. the cat, his cousin, and all that surround her? I'm mad at him for it. All the evidence is suspect. Every bit of it, absolutely it is. I would never trust him. If KK was defending BD, what would he say about his confession? Yeah, that's a good question. That would be interesting to hear Ken Kratz answer that. It's a good question for him. If anybody gets to talk to Ken Kratz, that might be a good one right there. I'd like to hear him answer that. I would pay him. Yeah, see, everybody wants to pay Kratz for the interview. If you guys do a GoFundMe, maybe you get enough. He might do it. Is it true KK takes a bath yearly? Would a FOIA request get the full Dassey interrogation released? You asked this last night on Laura's video. I remember. I saw it. File one. See. Let's see what you get. Thomas Hentz says he has 40 minutes of undisclosed footage, which feel free to email that over to me, by the way, Thomas Hentz. I'd love to have a look at it, by the way. Greetings from Canada, and we are not the truth. And we are not the truth, north, strong, and free as once believed. True north, strong, and free as we once believed. Your videos are the best. Been here since the beginning, and until they are free, please, someone investigate Killigas again. Oh, thank you so much, John P. And I guarantee you, Ryan Hilligas will never stop getting investigated. I still think I still think if they get Colburn to crack, yeah, that could be the case falling apart. Absolutely. Ryan Hilligas sponge bath is Colburn so dirty. Colburn does seem the weakest. Maybe, possibly, he might be the weakest, but might be somebody else. We might see Len Kaczynski start to break down here as he starts to face jail time, possibly. Are these your songs and music? No, the songs that I play at the beginning of my videos and stuff, those are from Stacy Seabrook. I actually spoke to him in a video just the other day, just two or 3 days ago. If you look in my live videos, if you go and look at my videos, my recent videos, there'll be one that'll say Erekose, or it'll say Making a Murder, Erekose Live, and then it'll say a chat with very talented musician, Mr. Stacy Seabrook. And you can see, and him and I have a chat, and you can find out all about his music, and he talks about how he creates some of it and all that sort of stuff if you're interested. I agree with you. Sweetie husband, yes, and 2 very innocent men rotting in prison. No, Randy, he was confirming. You can see he is scared. I read a few subreddits. They provided links to info on Tim Hallback. I find it interesting how TH's father was killed. I don't know that he was killed. I think he died of like some blood disorder. And the whole family works weird stuff, right? Colburn called the tag in on the 3rd. Nothing he says can explain that away. The blood vial was tampered with. Not sure what you meant by lack of blood. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Validated what? Wine and cookies tonight? Did you hear the second SUV is blue, not green? KK will only speak to sheeps since he has no facts and can't answer your questions. Absolutely. He doesn't want to tango with anybody who actually has real knowledge about the case. People that those of us who have actually dug in and educated ourselves, he doesn't want to get anywhere near us. He knows that he's going to be a sinking ship in a conversation with us. I can't watch you and talk at the same time. Let's get with it. Officially challenged KK to an MMA fight. Yeah, there you go. What's with the shirt and tie, guy? Because I was talking about something serious today. I decided to get all like lawyer-like on you, here. So I occasionally like to try to look official when I talk about certain things. I don't know. Man, I'd love Kaczynski to spill. I'd love Kaczynski to spill something. Not true, David. Don't understand. KK is a horrible human, but super smart. He absolutely is very smart, but a horrible human. What blows my mind is that Teresa's brother is a lawyer. He surely can see that something doesn't add up. I would wonder if he would tell the family of bogus forensic evidence, or he's buying into lies. Basically, still buying into lies. Look at Mike Greaseback. Even Mike Greaseback is still buying into the lies. So, I think Glenn is the cat's meow. I don't believe there was any blood in. I don't believe there was any blood in the RAV. In the original locked RAV. Not even Teresa's blood in the back. Maybe hers, but none of Avery's. Yeah, possibly. I think hers was probably there, but yeah. Anyone who disagrees is a moron, I guess. I don't know what he's referring to. Let's see. Fight would be too greasy. MMA fight would be too greasy. Greaseback, yeah. Or too greasy. Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, too sweaty and yeah. Oh yeah, you wouldn't be able to get a grip on him. He'd slip right through your holds. He'd just squeeze out like a No, you've proven to be a moron. I like dissenters like Thomas. Let's see. Research the hall box, and the whole family has some weird situation. Yeah. All business up top, all party on the bottom. Let's see here. All of the Avery case is a farce, and those that should have done and didn't turn a blind eye because money does mean more than what is right. Yeah, absolutely. When does the Texas Lawyers Part 5 drop? I'll drop it. I'll tell you what, I'll drop it an hour after I'm done here. And then I'll go live again later tonight. Club members will never crack. They know everything. They will. Yeah, that's probably true. Any thoughts on Purple XQD? Any thoughts on report of Shannon S. who reported smoke on 11/1, queso 261? Oh, that's the lady next door, the one that hated the Averys. I think that's who that is. I was going to dress up as Kratz for Halloween, but decided to go as Hitler, so I didn't offend anyone. Research the hall box. Let's see here. Yeah, Kaczynski has been arrested for stalking and violating a restraining order. Absolutely. Or he's at least facing charges. Put Hillegas, Blowdor, and Bobby Dassey and Scott Taddick in a room together. Lock them in. One of them is going to crack, and we will see some truth, whether they did it or whether they helped cover something up. Yeah, that could be true. Unfortunately, that'll never happen. Let's see. Watching live from Newfoundland. Hello, Randy. Let's see. Kratz promoted Stephen's guilt like a politician who is vying for people's votes. Yeah, that's true. That was after the trial. This case is simple, 36 million, right? Hey, Randy. Canada. Here, Saskatchewan, cool. John P, great idea. Oh yeah. Let's see, Beans. I haven't looked at queso reports recently. If the second part of the control question actually lined up with the state's narrative, then why do they cut it out when played publicly, like on talk shows or whatever? Actually, they did play. They actually talked about it on Dr. Phil, which was one of the things that drew my attention to it originally. And then I figured out what it was, and I'm like, oh, it is absolutely not saying what they say it says. They are absolutely smoking crack, and they need to lay off the crack pipe. What does CASO stand for? It stands for the Calumet County Sheriff's Department offices, basically. They're administrative offices. And so that's what it means, Calumet County Sheriff's Office. Nicole Sturm testified that she did try to open a door on Teresa's SUV on Avery salvage yard, but the problem is no DNA from Nicole on the SUV. She says that she put her sleeve over her hand and did it with her sleeve of her shirt. The fact that Kratz is still, to this day, campaigning against Avery tells me that he played a much bigger part in the corruption than we know. I mean, yeah, why is he still out there, yeah. Well, but then again, if you listen to the Texas law talks, they talk about how his interest was most likely because he was trying to get Stephen to work with him so that he could write Stephen's story about, the real story of what happened to Teresa Halbach, so he could get it off of his chest, and so that Ken Kratz could be the one to write the book and cash in on it. And so the theory is that Ken Kratz got very pissed off because while he was trying to do that, MAM comes out and basically blew any chance that he had of convincing Stephen to do it, or any chance he felt he had of convincing Stephen to do it. And he feels that MAM blew it out of the water. So he immediately started attacking MAM, and then he ended up writing a book anyway. So, he should walk away at this point. He did. He got the book that he wanted. He should walk away and shut the hell up, but he won't. He's going to continue to talk. He's an idiot. Dave Bagaka, could there be a connection with the club, sex party photos, and Teresa's nude photography business? I mean, Teresa's helping couples, or taking pictures of couples, like boudoir photos. I mean, that's a tasteful thing that lots of people do, so it's hard for me to. Anyway, anyone follow these on Twitter? That's King Kratz is the first one. TikTok Manitowoc I do follow a lot. Brutus, Cadaver Dog Brutus, I follow a bit. Yeah, those guys are yeah. I don't really follow Ken, but I do see a lot of stuff Ken says. I can believe that. If you notice in the trial, especially when Colburn was on the stand about the plate in the car and the evidence and the key, Teresa's mom face looked puzzled and in doubt. Yeah, sometimes the expressions from the Hallback family are a little bit perplexing and puzzling. Oh. KK is maybe the killer. Yeah, I know a lot of people have said that. I've said it before and I'm saying it again. Kratz is all over because if they got a new trial, he needs to make sure the jury is as tainted as it was the first time. That may be something to that. He's not fake, but he is getting greedy. He's not even a real doctor. I am on TikTok. Let's see. Kratz bleeds evil. Can't anyone see that? Yeah, plenty of people see it. Some people don't. Truth. That's a really good question. Took a pic and thought blackmail. Michael Peterson, purple X'd out. Or Dr. Pepper. Oh, that's funny. The only
power off.
The only family and people that are suffering are the Averys. Nobody knows if Teresa's actually really dead, and the Hallback family didn't seem to care. Only about Stephen being guilty. what the F is going on. Yeah, it's true. Hallbox didn't care. Yeah, it's true. So, there's enough things in this case that get you questioning. Like, and you guys have brought up a bunch of them here today. Like, for instance, the Mike Hallbach talking about grieving before they've even found any remains or cremains and everything. The strangeness of the blood in the RAV4, the strangeness of the hood latch DNA, and then the fact that if he's leaving almost 2 nanograms on the hood latch, how is there no fingerprints or any other markings from Stephen on the hood prop, on the hood release inside of the cab? How is there none of this evidence if he's leaving almost 2 complete nanograms on the hood latch? How is there just no other prints or evidence of Stephen anywhere else in this car? It's just bizarre and bewildering. And then along with what I was pointing out today, clearly he's saying that he's suggesting that if Teresa wasn't killed on the 31st, that it wasn't Stephen Avery. And then, like I said, we have Paul Metz's account of what is a very foul-smelling fire, but on November 1st. So, if I ever do get the chance to ask Ken about it, I certainly will. I'm not saying Ken has to sit down with me. I'm not saying that he will I'm not saying that he will talk to me. I'm not saying he will. I'm just saying that if he wants to, I will certainly want to ask him these questions. But I think he's probably going to not do it because, like I said, he wants to stick with the people who aren't as informed about the case as people like me and Laura and Casey and TikTok Manitowoc and Tracy Keogh and 7 Pairs of Panties and all these other various people that are on Twitter and on Facebook and stuff who have really researched this case. He don't want to come anywhere near us. In fact, the one time he went after Tracy Keogh, he got his butt handed to him. He absolutely got his butt handed to him on Twitter, and I have a video about it. If you guys really want to see it, I'll dig it up. I gotta go and figure out exactly what video I put that segment in. But he actually tried to descend in on Twitter on Tracy Keogh and a group of people that are just very devout supporters of Brendan, and he tried to descend into that group and started to cause trouble, and they absolutely handed him his ass. And it was great. It was awesome. So he learned his lesson. He stays away from the people that are knowledgeable because he knows that they will hand him his ass. I checked my email last night, and I didn't have any new ones. I'll have to look. It may have been right before he sent one. I'll look again today when I get a chance. Some say to disconnect the battery in the case, the RAV had an alarm. Comment made by Wendy B. I believe it was her who said that in the documentary. Yes, that's absolutely true. By taking all those shoes and boots or whatever, that they could solve half the crimes in the county. Yeah, that was her. My mom is watching these way too much. I hate it. I'm sorry. What am I missing here? Okay. DM to disconnect the battery to keep the car from being located electronically, supposedly. BD bet Sweaty Uncle Stevie that he couldn't open the hood using only his sweaty balls. Now that's sarcasm. I bet KK and Thomas will agree. Tim Rayleigh, how about the RAV4 key? How is it that TH had only one key? Was she homeless? Because most people have more than one key. Absolutely. And there's a picture that shows that she had more than one key on her key ring. She had to have had a studio key for her studio that she shared with Tom Pierce. She would have had to have a house key, right? At least that, right? And then the RAV key, she would have had to have that, right? And I imagine she would have probably had various other keys. Like there's probably a shed on her property that she probably had to have a key to that or something. And so whatever, but she should have had at least 3 keys. And there is a picture that shows she had more than one key. They show there's at least 2 keys sticking out of the bottom of her hand in a picture, and you can actually see the tips of the keys. So there's clearly supposed to be more than one key. The fact that there's only one is suspicious. Just recalling Teresa's mom called 911. She said she lives next door, and why would... Yeah, exactly. They do. She lives... It's like on their property where Teresa was. It's a house on their property, I think, that they would rent out. But then when Teresa got out of college, I guess she started, renting it or whatever. So, but yeah, it's right there on the property. And yeah, it took everybody 4 days to figure out, It's weird. Let's see. You should go undercover someone that just started looking into it to get him interested. That's who... This is who you were talking about. Right? Emma Hodgins? Okay. So, Shweezy, is Emma your daughter? Is that what's going on here? S.A. used his huge talented to open the hood. Yeah, I suppose that's possible. Why wasn't her house keys on it? Exactly. Or her studio key for her studio. Absolutely, right? Purple X Cutie, look it up if you get a chance, only because the proximity of Maiko house. My son told me the same. I think Emma means her mom is obsessed with the case like me. Yeah, and I think Emma's mom is Shweezy Hodgins, because Shweezy rarely misses a live feed. So I'm thinking Emma might be her daughter and is in here going, gosh, stop it, guys. Oh, that's cool. 120 people. That's great. Yeah, 121. First things first, get Stephen a retrial. Stephen gets released on reasonable doubt. Step 2, investigate the hall box to find the real killer and get the real answers. Absolutely. Any news about Teresa, former boyfriend that inserted himself into the investigation? I mean, yeah, that's Ryan Hillegas. He just happened to guess Teresa's password. Yeah, that's Ryan Hillegas. He's still very fishy. He's still a person of interest in terms of Zellner. She's very much still interested in him coming in and answering questions. Yeah, Mike, the grieving brother, the horrific lies Manitowoc must have told the family, and Ryan all happy because he didn't have to go provide an alibi. Absolutely. OMG, such a terrible miscarriage. Absolutely. Kratz inserted himself just as much. Yeah, I think he probably did. Hit those thumbs up for Erekose. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please do hit the thumbs up. All the love is appreciated very much. Thank you very much. You're all wonderful. Let's see. Hi from County Durham, England. Loving this. County Durham? Oh, man. You don't have any, staircase things going on over there, do you? Okay, good. All right. So, so as I was saying, pointing out all the fishy things about this case, and you guys are actually pointing out quite a few of them here. You have, the lies of Kratz, which I was just alluding to, and all the things that he's doing and the misdirection that he creates and the things that he says and does and when he goes and does interviews. And then we have Tom Fassbender, because Tom Fassbender is just as bad in a lot of ways. I don't think he's as... I don't see Tom Fassbender as being as willfully just evil or just just a terrible human being like Kratz, but I think he's pretty bad because he clearly goes on telling lies in the present day. I mean, and that's what they are. They're lies about Brendan, i.e. control question, i.e. when Brendan actually tells them to their face that he's been guessing, they ignore it and move on. Just a lot of the things about Tom Fassbender. He's not honest. He's not being honest, and just like a lot of people tied to this case, it's just there's very few people that are being in any way honest about it. In fact, the only place I feel like I'm getting honesty are from the people that were excluded, such as people like the coroner, and stuff like that. So it's very, very. Very, very strange case. Very, very odd what's going on here. And, yeah, definitely. Okay, I'll be back. Why do the neighbors hate the Avery so much? Just the Averys are just hated in that area. It is what it is, I guess. Why was Michael never called to testify? Do we know? Because Bobby made comments about him. Well, because the Dean and Jerry were able to basically refute what Ken was trying to assert happened with Bobby. They were able to, in their cross-examination, after they were able to prepare for this, they were able to cross-examine Bobby. I think it was after lunch or the morning of the next day when they were able to prepare. And they were able to effectively, dispel that, what Ken was trying to do. Because the deer tag, and they got the deer tag and how the deer tag, and when the deer tag was got and all that sort of stuff, and they were able to prove that the conversation did not happen when Ken was trying to assert that it happened. And so they were able to prove that. Al's everywhere there. Mississippi here, new subscriber. Hello, Mr. Man. Let's see, Rednecks basically. How long are you going to be live? Oh, I don't know. Probably, I don't know. I'll probably be thinking about winding it down here pretty soon. Generally, I like to go around an hour and 30 to 2 hours. It just depends. Thank you so much. Watch that one channel. That's a good one. I like that. Let's see. Probably, you know what to do. Yeah. Go. What you gotta do right now, Purple, is you gotta go make a premiere and then upload the premiere right now while I'm talking. Okay, Slumber Party live show tonight. Let's see. I found the fact that Mike H was called on the day very dodgy. More questions have been asked of him, and RH was on the stand. Very convenient for KK. Absolutely. Yay, yes, Laura. Do a show. Erekose and Laura all day. Okay, but Laura, go after me. I'm going to be doing one later tonight too. So just make sure you start after me, please. Or, if you could please start after me. So you don't cut it. So you don't cut it off. Dang, I'm the one that goes for 4 hours. It depends. It just depends how I feel and stuff like that. Sometimes I just have time restraints, and usually I'm needing to get to bed myself because I'm starting at 8 o'clock, and so I go for an hour and a half. That puts me around 9:30. I need to start thinking about bed at that point. So but right now I'm in the morning. I don't have any real restraints on time at the moment. So, but we'll see. See you guys later. Gotta play with the dogs. See you later, Lori. Sorry, on the first day, make it a lingerie show. I can wear my dinosaur onesie. Oh, you mean? Oh, dude, I gotta go be like Macklemore. I gotta go find the what's it called? The Batman onesies, or whatever, like in thrift shop. No. Let's see. Season 2 really did make Dean and Jerry look like they were not on top of things, or were they intentionally being withheld information. Hi from Sweden. Though some information was being withheld from them. Some of them they probably could have been a little more proactive about and weren't. There's a little bit of both columns in that. Someone implied earlier, a person who has a criminal history as a killer. A lot of us have done stuff below the belt, but it doesn't mean you're a killer. Kratz is in this guy's mind. The computer was open to the supporting you, Purple X Cutie. Let's see here, Jenna Black, because nobody ever charged Bobby with the porn. Well, that's another thing. Why that didn't raise more red flags for people is kind of a very fishy thing. If that content was on that computer, it should have raised eyebrows, and it didn't seem to do so. It's 12:23, or it's 2023 in the UK. Always miss your lives. Glad I've caught 2 so far. Well, that's cool, Weeb. That's why I'm going here. I started at 10:30 in the morning here, or 11 actually here. So that it would be much earlier in the day and would give a whole new group of people a chance to show up and be on my live. So that was kind of the idea. No one got charged for the child porn. Yeah, I mean, the fact that didn't raise any eyebrows is a little concerning. Kratz is a snake. He was caught sexting in 2009, but now, yeah, absolutely. David, Bobby was the only one home at that time of day. Yes, we got to send you a Christmas present from Belgium with Belgian product. Oh, well, thank you. You absolutely. Like I said, just send me an email and we can talk, and I can send you a mailing address. Let's see. I can't understand why he hasn't been charged with the computer findings. Can we start a petition to have charges filed? I don't know. I don't know how effective it would be, or if the statute of limitations is run out. I mean, that's probably another problem with it. Perhaps the computer of Bobby's is what the state had on him to get him to change his statements. Could be. That's one thing that I've always reasoned, that it was used against him as leverage to get him to say what they wanted him to say. Because his brother Brian clearly states that he was at first saying that Teresa left and that he saw her leave. And then that changed. Same here. Really good time for me too. Let's see. Hey, Erekose, is there a way to write to you personally? Yes, if you email me, I can give you a mailing address. Michael, the state motion pretrial to keep the defense from pointing the finger at other suspects. Me too. In Southampton, only caught 2 so far. Also, if there was child porn, the state scrubbed it. Only images were faces of death type stuff. Yeah, that's true. That's the kind of what was in there and stuff. But let's see. Talk about the jury's pizza man. Oh, yeah, there was a guy that came to deliver pizza to the jury, apparently, that ended up not leaving right away. He ended up sticking around for like an hour or 2 or whatever and was talking with the jury, which is an absolute no-no. Nobody else should have been in with the jury that possibly had, knowledge of the case from the media and things like that. And so, yeah, that was a very fishy thing. Bobby's computer has me horrified. That stuff ain't normal, absolutely. Someone should be held accountable for the stuff on their computer. I'll tell you what. You know what, you guys? It's true the computer's bad and all that. Something just reminded me, because the state of Wisconsin just blows me away. You got what happened with Brendan, right? And all of everything that's causing for the state of Wisconsin right now, right? And how a lot of people are very critical of what has been done to Brendan Dassey. And then there's this story recently that is just blowing me away. Okay? There's this story about this 10-year-old little girl, okay, who very unfortunately had emotional problems and possibly some emotional and psychological problems, and she stomped on a little baby's head and killed this little baby. But she was 10 years old, okay? Wisconsin, in its freaking infinite freaking wisdom, decides they're going to charge a 10-year-old as an adult and throw a 10-year-old into prison. I mean, are you freaking kidding me? How is it you're not going after the guardians of that 10-year-old? The whole point of being a 10-year-old is that you're not responsible for your actions. You make mistakes and you learn. This is bizarre to me. It's always been that parents were responsible for their children's actions. And why is that not happening here? Why are we suddenly trying to charge a 10-year-old an adult? Did we not learn anything from Brendan Dassey? And how the world is already looking at you like you're a bunch of child abusers and freaking crazy people. And then you do that. I mean, come on, Wisconsin. Get your freaking head in the game. Seriously. Pull it out of your rear end, go down to the doctor, and have the doctor surgically remove it from your ass for you. But freaking do it. You can't be doing this kind of crap. You're making yourself look like a joke, Wisconsin. Anyways, all right, rant over. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous charging a 10-year-old as an adult, dude. How are you not charging the legal guardians, the people responsible for that child? How are you not charging them? How is this not falling on them? I mean, if they charge this 10-year-old and get a conviction on a 10-year-old, charging her as an adult, yeah, suffice to say, there'll be a string of videos. Manson was in jail since he was 9. The reason was because of what she did. The little 10-year-old girl had some head problems, some emotional problems, and she she did something stupid and ill-advised and dumb and ridiculous and wrong and absolutely wrong. But can we charge a 10-year-old as an adult? That's the question. Even a 10-year-old could be evil, but they are not an adult. They are not an adult. They have not made enough decisions in life to be concrete. They can change. Anybody that can agree with throwing a 10-year-old to the wolves, trying them as an adult, I'm sorry, I disagree with you. I very much disagree with you. The adults who are responsible for that 10-year-old should be responsible. That's the ones who should be responsible here, not the 10-year-old. The 10-year-old clearly needs to learn and clearly made a huge stupid mistake, but that's got to be maybe because of some neglection, like she was neglected or something. This is stemming from the guardians, not from the 10-year-old. The 10-year-old is still learning how to live. I'm sorry, getting a little upset about it, but that's the way I feel about it. The guardians have failed the system. They've failed this 10-year-old girl. They failed the infant child that was killed. It's the guardians that are to blame here, in my opinion. Or at least they are responsible, and this should be being focused on them, not the 10-year-old girl who, just doesn't ring for me. It doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem possible. Yeah, she's just 10, so it needs to fall on the people responsible, and 10-year-olds are not legally responsible for themselves. Trust me, if she went, she can be tried as an adult, but I guarantee you, now that she's being tried as an adult, if she tried to go down to the local liquor store and buy a beer, guess what's going to happen? They're not going to treat her as an adult if she went and tried to buy a beer. Okay? This is the ridiculousness of trying a 10-year-old as an adult. See, even if there weren't images of it, searching for it is illegal. You're absolutely right. Thank you so much. And clearly there were several searches for it. Yep. Even if she did stop, surely the father should be accountable. And why was she looking after the baby? Absolutely. Absolutely. 10-year-old's brain has even developed 50% emotionally. Yeah, there's still a lot of growing and a lot of learning that goes on at 10 years old. And clearly she's had some problems growing up. And clearly she needs to have some maybe therapy and some things to help her sort some things out. This poor 10-year-old little girl. She doesn't need to be thrown to the freaking wolves in prison. That's not the freaking answer here. Sorry, but you guys may have noticed by now that the reason I got involved in this was Brendan Dassey. You may notice that when I see things happening to kids, it just bugs me because kids are innocent. Kids are vulnerable in our system. And when our system seems to not give a damn about kids, it really freaking pisses me off. That's from the U.S. Department of Justice site. Let's see. 10-year-old. Why is this 10-year-old not a national media story? Yeah, she sure should be. So I'm here talking about it. Hopefully we'll get it amped up, because Jesus, if Wisconsin isn't ashamed of what they did to Brendan, then they're gonna be ashamed of this. You're gonna feel the shame on making this decision. If come hell or high water, if I have my way about it. My camera gets out of focus. There's nothing I can really do about it. I'm going to have to buy a new camera eventually because this stupid $300 camera can't seem to freaking focus on me. I don't know why, but because I spent $300 on it, I haven't been too keen to go buy another one. Tell us how you really feel. The word only gives no other choice. Yes, wording is key. Absolutely. I was just searching for the statute of limitations and the computer stuff, and I have some reading to do. I'm pretty sure you're going to find it 7 years. Let's see, Cranberry Mary, shame on you. So very sad. I hope they get her help now. Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. So it seems like we're getting a little bit wound down here, and I want to go ahead and prepare some things for you guys. I'm going to upload a premiere for you guys. It's going to premiere in about an hour after I go off the air here. So I'll actually maybe let's make it just a half an hour. What time is it right now? Okay, so yeah, let's make it about. It's going to be about 22 minutes, 20 minutes or so. I'll have a premiere, and that'll be part 5 of the Texas Tech law panel. It's the Q&A where the people in the audience get to ask questions to all the people in the panel. So I'll upload that for us to all watch as a premiere here in a half an hour. Or actually, let's make it 45 minutes. Let's make it 45 minutes. And then we'll watch all that together. And then a few hours later, I'll come back for one more live session. Probably around, say, 4 o'clock Pacific time, which will be 7 o'clock Eastern time. And then I'll go live for maybe another hour and a half then. And then after my live session, you guys can jump over to Laura's little live slumber party. So that should keep you guys all going all Saturday, at least for the most part. Hope you guys are enjoying it. I hope it's a pleasure being here to talk to all you guys and speak to you guys about all this stuff and answer your questions and do all that sort of stuff. Anybody who's interested in getting a Control Question t-shirt, send me an email, tell me your size and address, and what color you want. Keep in mind, if you're in the United States, $5 shipping makes a total of $20 for the t-shirt. If it's overseas, we're developing a new idea where we're going to wait for 6 orders from Scotland or from England, and then 6 orders from, say, Australia, or 6 orders from Ireland, and then I'm going to send 6 shirts to one person so that person can then send them more inexpensively, because I can send 6 shirts for one bulk price, and then that price can be split across the people. And so instead of people having to pay $24 for me to ship them a shirt internationally, we're going to get that cost down to hopefully around $7 or $8 internationally. So if you guys are interested, let me know. Send me an email if you want the Control Question t-shirt. If you want the blue one that says Keep Her Moving, that's Charlie Barron's. Go to his YouTube channel, find his little link to his shop where you can go. He has the shirt. He has it where you can buy it as a flag. If you guys have seen Paul Capaldi's videos, he actually has the whole Charlie Barron's Manitowoc Keep Her Moving flag hangs up on the wall behind him. So he has some really cool merchandise over there. Keep Her Moving beanies and all kinds of stuff that you can check out over there at Charlie Barron's. And then obviously there's all the merchandise at the Avery Salvage website, where you can buy the merchandise from the Avery Salvage, and that goes to support the family. And don't forget, I have left you guys a link down below here in the info, where if you wanted to PayPal Dolores money for her, it's just her money for her to have when she wants to go do something. If she wants to get up out and go out one day and buy lunch and do whatever, it's just for her, just so Mama D has her own money. If you want to donate to that, you can. Her email link that you would send it to her through PayPal is down in the info below. So if you want to avail yourself of that. And so if all those avenues are open to you, if you want, we'll see you guys in about 45 minutes. Well, you won't see me necessarily live, but we'll be together chatting on the part 5 of the Texas Tech Law Panel. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe, and we'll see you guys. You guys are awesome.